All right, guys, welcome back. So today we're here for day two in the day in the life with the Pixel. And obviously, day one we talked about some things that we liked, some things that we didn't like. And in day two, we're going to go in some of the same stuff, some stuff that I found new that I'm kind of excited about, some things that I like, and then obviously we'll talk about some things that I'm not so fond of. So to start right off the bat, one of the things that I really like about the Pixel, and I'm assuming this is with all Android, is the way that they handle phone calls. Obviously, from an iOS perspective, when messages or notifications come in, they come in kind of at the top bar, and you see that information there. But and that's it, right? But for phone calls, it takes over the whole screen, whether it's a regular phone call or a FaceTime phone call. With the Pixel, and I've seen this in other Android phones before, it's just the top bar. It's just like any other notification where you can still continue to do some of the things that you've been doing before someone called you, and it doesn't completely interrupt you. I think that's something super cool. One of the things that I like about it. Just to throw this out there, like I said, I've been an iPhone user for years, and back in the day with the iPhone 4S, 5, I want to say, I used to jailbreak my devices all the time, so we had a function which was similar to this. Obviously, Android, accepted it and made it native within their Android operating system, so that's cool. Something that I do think that Apple would kind of steal that idea from them. So that's one. The second thing that I like about the device is going to be the way it handles quick charge. So similar to other Android devices like Samsung and HTC devices that are out there, they come with the block, the power up brick, as well as the cable with the device, and they have a quick charge feature where if you plug it in, it'll give you 15 minutes to give you a few hours worth of use. I found that to actually work. I found that for me to plug it in for maybe 15 minutes or so, and me to get all the way up to maybe like 45% or something like that. So that feature works. And on an iPhone, in terms of our fast charging, we used to normally just use like an iPad adapter when we plug it in. And all that would do was it would increase or decrease, I should say, the charge time that it would take, but it wouldn't do nothing like crazy like 40% in a crazy short period of time. Now I do know with the iPhone 10 and the iPhone 8 that's coming out, they're supporting fast charging, so to speak, in their own way. But I do like the way that Android and specifically the Google Pixel handles the fast charging. In terms of battery life, I can get through typically a whole day, maybe until about 6 o'clock or so with normal usage. So it's relative to what I was getting with the iPhone 7 Plus. I wouldn't say battery life is any better or any worse than I was getting with the iPhone 7 Plus, but it's right on par for a huge device like that. So that's what we have for the first two. The last two is something simple. It doesn't seem like something too crazy, but something that I can definitely appreciate. Is going to be the live wallpapers. So the way that the live wallpapers that come stock with the Google Pixel kind of remind me of how the Apple TV handles wallpapers, on the television, where it's giving you this aerial shot of some awesome or beautiful piece of landscape or something like that. And Google kind of built in and took those ideas as well, and kind of built it into the wallpaper for the phone. So you look at things like the globe, it kind of moves and it has small transitions and things of that nature, and that's on the actual wallpaper. Whereas opposed to with the iPhone, the wallpapers aren't as maybe let's say dynamic and free flowing as some of the obviously Android and specifically with the Google Pixel. So I found myself to kind of like that. Hasn't been too much of a hit on battery life that I can tell. So that's been awesome. Now, let's talk about some of the couple things that I found that unfortunately I don't like. First off, I've been using the Huawei Watch, the Huawei 2, for a few days now since I got the Pixel, and I'm going to be honest with you, Android Wear, it's not that great. In comparison to an Apple Watch, no. It's not even remotely close. It almost seems like it belongs in kind of like the Fitbit category because in terms of functionality, it was an extension where I could get like small notifications or maybe respond to text messages or even phone calls. But outside of that, it seemed pretty basic, and just the usability and the experience, it just didn't seem great. It almost seems like they just put a product together to just get it out, as opposed to saying, let's make sure this product is awesome. Even from a screen resolution perspective, there's so many things that I'm not feeling on the Huawei Watch so far. I know there's a lot of folks out there that can say, hey, why don't you try the Samsung Gear S3? The reason why I haven't gone to the Gear S3 is specifically because with the Gear S3, it's running Tizen. It's not running specifically Android Wear. And because of that, it's not going to give me the exact experience that I want where I'm going in just for Google products. So that's the reason why I didn't select the Gear S3 as opposed to, the Huawei watch. I'm kind of been tempted to just try it out, to be honest with you, because I feel like it'll be a much better experience, but that's why we haven't done that. So, but yeah, Android Wear, not a huge fan. It's limited in some of the health tracking. There's so many things that I found that I'm just not a big fan of. The second thing, it's going to sound like something super simple. iPhones have had this from the inception of when the device was created. And that is a mute toggle switch. Having the ability to flip a switch and put my phone on vibrate goes wonders. I can literally do it without looking at the phone. My phone can be in my pocket. Anything crazy can be going on. I can get a notification, just quickly flip that switch. If I'm in a meeting or if I'm busy doing something that I don't want my ringer to be on for, it's super convenient. With Android, I literally have to hold down the volume button until it goes all the way to the end and let it go. So I have to interact with my device to put it on vibrate or standby mode a lot more than I do on my iPhone. And I don't really like that. Every time I get to work, I'm noticing I got to pull out my phone, hold down the volume button. It feels like it's taking me back to, the early 2000s where smartphones were just getting popular. And even then the iPhone had it, but a lot of the other ones didn't. So I'm not a fan of them not having a mute toggle switch. No, I'm not feeling that at all. And the last thing that I'm going to complain about and say that I'm not a huge fan on is the way that Google handles smart home, right? So they have the Google Home app, and I've been using that for not only a speaker, but adding, my home control devices into it as well. And in doing so, I found that it's not as intuitive. They make you kind of select rooms, right? And where you put devices in. And previously, when I was using with the Alexa, when I was using home automation with the Alexa, I'd be able to say, hey, turn off the bedroom lights or the kitchen lights or the living room lights, whatever the case is. But when you do that with the Google Home, it turns off the entire room set of lights. And that's kind of inconvenient. So I know I probably could go in and rename all my devices and everything else, but that's a really huge pain. And I don't really like that. So from a home perspective, they're limited. You can't set up things like scenes. There's so many things that you can't do in it. So yeah, and that's it. So those are my kind of takeaways from day 2. Hopefully this was valuable to you guys. You guys learned something, and obviously stay tuned for day 3. We have a lot more things to get into. So thank you guys. Make sure you subscribe. Talk to you soon.